When he woke up from his dream, he wondered where he was. He was in a wooden house, a place he was not familiar with. He saw a mirror and he looked into it, and suddenly he was shook to see his face. He had a green stain on his face and a blue screen suddenly appeared. He sees his personal status on the screen, and that's when he realized he reincarnated as a goblin. Before that happens, he is playing a fantasy frontier, and it is a very popular game worldwide. He was playing it all day and reached the highest rating. While he was wandering around while grinding killing goblins, and then he fell asleep. That is when he realized the reason why he reincarnated as a goblin. But when he looked into the mirror, he didn't look like a goblin, but he looked like a human. Meanwhile, the blue screen starts to sync the memory between the reincarnation and the character. Suddenly, he started to feel the pain in his head while remembering the memory he has. He sees that the life of the goblin that he reincarnated has a hard life. Suddenly, his sister entered the room to greet him. Good morning, he reminded him to hurry up. He responded as he was used to it. His sister prepared a lunchbox for him and responded positively. He looks around and he remembers it. He is in the fantasy frontier world. He sees that most likely in the world, the house, floor, and people are exactly the same in a game. He remembered during the syncing memory that the boy lives with his sister and their parents died. Now, he will go to the mansion where the people there are mistreating them. While walking, his sister suddenly tripped over while walking. Luckily, he caught his sister Lily on time. He asked his sister if she is okay, and his sister responded that she is okay. The boy told his little sister that he will protect her even if he reincarnates as a weak demon race, a goblin. The boy wants to live well in their world, but what does he do to attain that? In a large house, the demon continent, evil merchant's mansion, he said goodbye first to his little sister. He then thought that his sister is blind. He works as a laborer and he is in charge of cleaning the merchant's mansion. The owner of the mansion ordered him to move the dark ore, and he obeyed it. While moving the dark ores, someone kicked his wooden cart and he fell with his wooden cart. 3 men appeared and the man with yellow hair told him that he should move faster with a smirk on his face. They said that he has no dark element aptitude and he can't even do anything. He just ignored it and stood up like nothing happened. While fixing his cart and dark ores, the 3 men mentioned about the entrance exam in magic school, and their yellowed hair friend passed it, and the brown-haired boy mentioned that if you aren't elite you can't pass the exam. While talking about it, the yellow-haired boy saw him, and while picking the dark ores, the yellowed-haired guy said that you are still there. The yellow-haired guy said that he should stay sulking there, eat some grass, and they walked away while walking. He thought that goblins are at the bottom after all. Then a blue screen appeared with his perks as a goblin. While looking at the sky, sitting outside with his lunch made by his sister, he saw the demon continent calendar, and it is currently 125 years, and it is same time like in the intro of the game, and he is aware that his knowledge will be handy. When he was thinking about what he do, a blue shiny circle appeared in the sky and some armored people appeared from it. He was shocked and remembered who they were. It is a special equipment from FF, the Holy Knight's armor. Some people panic as they see and feel they are being attacked by the hero's army. While people are panicking and running, Goblin Kun keeps on thinking because his place is in the far reaches of the demon continent, and the human army reached it. He thought that they were earlier than in the game. While the armored people are attacking, a white-haired guy with a mustache laughs and says that they disobeyed human lords, that is why they are being attacked. Goblin Kun rushed to their house and told his sister that she must run away faster. He runs to his sister as he sees that his sister is lying on the ground, not responding, and has tears in her eyes. As he picked up his sister, some people ran from behind, causing them delayed to escape. He planned to escape from the hidden door and he asked Lily if she was okay. Lily said yes, and suddenly a man with white hair and mustache opened the door and he saw them. The white-haired man said that 2 animals, unable to escape, fail. While Lily is behind his back, he said that he can't fight with his current him, but he still tries and lets Lily escape. While he let Lily run, he was struck by a yellow shining sword. He spilled blood caused by the sword, and the man laughed as he saw him in pain. While he was slowly losing his consciousness, he thought that even though he reincarnated there, he was gonna die like that. While he was unconscious, he asked himself if he was already dead. While thinking that, a shining invisible girl appeared and said that even though I reincarnated him, it turned out like that. The invisible girl said that she is not shocked, but she can't let him be shocked like that. She can't just overlook that. She will be in a big mess if a goblin race becomes extinct. She then gives her power to the Goblin Kun. The blue screen appeared again and his personal information changed. He sees his status with his tired eyes, and the girl said that it is her good-for-nothing status. It's raised to the max, that will be all. He will not be able to use all of the power for now. He will grasp how to use it gradually over time. All because you died right away, goodness. When the girl slowly disappearing, He asked for a minute and wanted to ask questions, but the girl said that he will wake up soon and he should not loiter around. And the girl said that he must defeat his enemies. He suddenly wakes up and the man with white hair said that the next target is Lily. The white man shouted to Lily to die, but it suddenly paused as he saw that Goblin Kun is still alive. He then shouted to Goblin Kun that it is time for him to die and 2 armored people are going to attack his back, and suddenly his blue screen appeared and pinged one of his skill. As he remembered the last word of the girl who gave him powers, he used his dark boost lever 32 and his one-eyed turned to violet while slashing all of his enemies. The white-haired man stunned as he was surprised by Goblin Kun's movement. Goblin Kun said that earlier he was about to do something to his sister. White-haired man panicked as he see Goblin Kun is already in his back and asked him while stuttering. Goblin Kun responds, he is just a goblin. His sister knows nothing and is confused about what happened. The war ended and some houses were broken due to the attack. The owner of the mansion announced that according to the town report, the hero's army was defeated. Some people are confused and wondering who can defeat the hero's army, and some people just smile because the attack is over. While Goblin Kun was sitting in a corner with his sister, he opened his blue screen and his first quest was done. He then asked himself if his range had increased. Suddenly he touched his face as he felt a pain. Lily asked him if he is okay. He just responded he is okay. After feeling the pain, he thought that he could unlock more power. The yellow-haired boy appeared in a crowd and said that, "Father, everyone, thank God all of you are safe." He said that he didn't want to reveal the information, but the one who defeated the hero's army was him. The man who owned the mansion asked if it's true with a big smile on his face. Butch said that he defeated him by the dark magic he always trained with. Goblin Kun was surprised when he heard it, and the crowd praised Butch and called him a savior. Butch responded like he was humble, and he said that he just did what to be done. He said that, if they want to know how he defeated it, come to his mansion later. But he will not tell it for free. Goblin Kun realized the situation that Butch is just after for the money and fame. While Butch walking, he passed through Goblin Kun, and Goblin Kun said that he wanted to hear Butch's legendary tale, Savior. How much should he give? Would a gift be alright instead? Butch smirks to goblins and says that he is still alive. He was a tough one and a useless piece of shit. Goblin Kun stood up as he lost his temper, and Lily was trying to calm him down. Goblin Kun said to Butch that he was being the savior is a lie, isn't it? Butch responds to what are he saying? Enough with your spaz outburst. Then, the goblin said that if he beat Butch, he will admit that it was a lie. Butch's friend was trying to react, but Butch stopped him and accepted the challenge. Butch releases his power and starts to attack the goblin, but Goblin's eyes turn into violet. Butch saw goblins were on fire and said that he should stop acting brave. He was just a talentless histotent. As he faced the crowd, he said to everyone that is the magic that defeated the hero's army. Butch suddenly turns to Goblin with confusion as he sees the violet monster appear and greet him and touch it with its claw. Goblin asked Butch if he really defeated the hero's army. Butch said that he did while stuttering. Goblin said to Butch that speak the truth. Butch shouted that he did while nervous. Goblin said that he should tell the truth, not the lies. Butch gave up and said that he lied. During the attack, he just hid in a warehouse and he didn't save the town. Goblin accepts his answer and turns into human form again with just a snap. Butch was kneeling on a floor while closing his ears, and as he opened his teary eyes and looked around the crowd, Goblin was talking to himself that he just used a level 35 evil eye. Whoever meets eyes with the chanter falls into a hallucination. Butch was still confused about what just happened. Goblin touched Lily and said that they should go. Butch's friends were surprised at what happened, and they can't believe it was him who defeated the hero's army. Goblin said that he didn't do it, and he also wondered who it was. He reincarnated as the weakest goblin, but upon death, he received the greatest power. He said that with the power of darkness, become the savior of this world. Lily said there's so much has happened lately and she's been a bit tired out. He asks her to come closer and cast Dark Cure level 38. She was blind from birth, but he was curious what would happen if he would treat her with a high level of normal healing magic. Lily opened her eyes and can now see. He explained to her that some stuff happened and he is now able to use dark magic. Lily was not convinced from what he said. He guessed that he had awakened his genius potential. She asks if that is even a thing even though they were goblins. He pats her head and he was just glad that she's cured now. She said that he was right and he was always cool as she was smiling with tears in her eyes and started crying. He was now seeing things popping out of nowhere, and a mysterious lady appeared. The mysterious lady said that she hates to interrupt, but this is her wish, so it can't be helped. She introduced herself as the Goblin Fairy. She was tasked to escort them to the hidden village of goblins and asked to get along with them. The Goblin Fairy said to him, "O strongest, unparalleled mutation." As they were walking inside the demon continent backwoods, he was thinking about that Goblin Fairy. He said that Fantasy Frontier boasted an open world and where anything could happen. Its game systems could be called the best of its kind. And the highly advanced AI engine also allowed for an insane degree of freedom in race development. The Goblin Fairy looks at him and asks what, and he says it's nothing. They arrived at the demon continent hidden village of goblins. He had no idea that there was a settlement here even in all of his game knowledge. The Goblin Fairy said that it was always covered by concealment magic. The Goblin Fairy takes them to the village chief. As they were walking, the goblin civilians were looking at them. 3 goblin children walked toward Lily and said that she was pretty and they wanted to play with her. The Goblin Fairy said that it was fine and he proceeded to go to the chief. He said to Lily that she can play with time for a bit. He was glad that Lily seems like she's been having a good time since she gained sight. The chief said that there would be other descendants who survived besides them, as it is just as the goddess's prophecy foretold. They were led by a fairy. A young goblin boy would one day come to this village and they would entrust their hidden treasure to him. He questions himself if the voice heard when he died have also been the goddess's prophecy. The chief asks him to wait there and he'll return shortly. The Goblin Fairy said that they're all very kind and gentle goblins, but they were living on limited food and resources, and asked if he understood the situation. The other tribes shim and ostracize them, and the hero's forces think of them as nothing more than a stain on their swords. The Goblin Fairy said that this isn't just a natural selection. They're deliberately oppressing them, and this village's demise is just around the corner. He said that in the game's world, goblins are just some small fry monsters, and now he has become a goblin himself. He can't believe things have come to this. The chief gave him a rolled paper. The Goblin Fairy and him were shocked as he opened the paper. The chief said that they were on the brink of extinction and entrusted their faith in him and called him the chosen one. The 3 goblin children run towards him and they both spoke at the same time, saying, "Please help us." A lot of goblin villagers start coming inside and start bowing down and begging him to save their people. Goblins are the weakest creature on their own at the start of the game, but they are troublesome when in large groups with some strong higher-ranking species among them, as well as unusually high reproductive capabilities. That made him think that goblins are facing imminent extinction despite all of that. Coupled with the unusually fast progression of the hero's forces, it seems like there's something happening that he's unaware of. The Goblin Fairy asked why they came out in their situation. He wants to confirm something and see how well he's able to make use of his available abilities. He was looking at his dark magic skill that he acquired, and some of it is grayed out and can't be used yet. They don't seem to be displayed in any particular order. There's most likely a skill tree programmed into the back end of things. Aside from magic, his stats are also quite overwhelming. He was facing in front of a boulder, and he swung his arm towards it to measure his physical strength. The boulder shatters. Then he casts Flare Bomb level 10 and it causes a large explosion. He now has a list of skills that can use. He said that he needs to make some final touches. There's a certain location in the hidden village that was marked on the scroll the elder gave him. It was the demon continent hidden village of goblins' secret cemetery. The Goblin Fairy said that it was the place where the ancestral heroes of the goblin tribe are laid to rest. He invokes the most essential dark magic spell of the ones he learned so far. He casts Summon Goblin level 99. A Hama-Goblin, Gob-Dragon, Goblin Girl, and Goblin General appear. The Goblin Fairy said it is turning into something really amazing. He said that throughout thousands of years of history, even the weakest and lowliest of goblins have rarely given birth to a goblin with a mutation that has powers and special abilities of the strongest class. These heroic spirits who only exist in the past, he was able to summon all of their memories here. The Goblin General kneels in front of him. He was called Lord Messiah and asked for his orders. He said that with that power, he will end the war between the hero's forces and the Demon Lord's army. He will make both the hero and the Demon Lord bow their heads and bring peace to this world. He will become the Goblin Messiah. He heard a voice saying, "Hey you, listen," shouted to wake up. He woke up and she saw a girl. He asked who she was. She was the goddess of goblins. He was surprised. She looks similar to what he saw inside the elder's house. He guessed that even low-ranking monster tribes have their own deity. She doesn't seem godly at all, and in fact, she looks like a sexy older lady. The goddess of goblins said he was thinking something very inappropriate just now. He declined quickly. She said that she'll let that aside. There was no time when they last met. She will now tell the reason why she granted that power. Tens of millions of goblins have met their cruel deaths throughout countless playthroughs, treated as nothing but low-level life forms. They are said to be the weakest beings because of our powerlessness, but that is why they are also the strongest. He questioned that they're the strongest because they're the weakest. An inheritance reincarnation where he has now inherited all the knowledge and darkness of her fallen brethren. When tens of millions of the weakest are gathered together, they become one being of unparalleled power. Her sister isn't the only one you're capable of saving. She leaves the future of their dying tribe in his hands. He woke up. He said that he'll create a world free of oppression. He was writing an application for the Academy of Dark Magic entrance exam. The Goblin Fairy asked if he's sure that was going to work. He said yes and just left it to him. He said that he wants to create a world where his sister and everyone from the hidden village can live in peace. In order to do that, his first target is one of the 7 greats of the Demon Lord's army, the one who rules over this region, the cruel King Duel. The Academy of Dark Magic thrives as a training ground for army recruits in his domain. Duel is also the Academy's founder. If he were to enter the school and become a cadet, he could have an official audience with the founder, and that would be the perfect opportunity to strike him down. He asks Lily to wait for him for a bit. His little sister will stay sheltered inside the hidden village of Goblin. He said he'll be back before she knows it. She said to be careful. He asked the Goblin Fairy what is she going to do. She said that her work is already done, but it seems it'll be interesting, so she will obviously tag along with him. He is now at the Demon Continent Cruel King Duel's domain, Castle Town. He said that Academy of the Dark Magic should be that way. A man shouted to the girl that she can't even do something so simple. He looked at them. The man kicked the girl and said that he'll be late for the deal. Another man said that he's doing it again. He always gets like that when he's in a bad mood. The Goblin Fairy said that he knows it's a goblin slave picking on the lower class tribes as always. She was disgusted. He remembers that guy was Bradley the slave merchant. Inside the setting of fantasy frontier, he was a lower-ranking demon aristocrat who amassed a lot of wealth from trading slaves. Anything goes for him. Crime, intimidation, and breaking contracts. To think that his obsession with the character art books would come in handy there of all places. This is a perfect chance to test out the abilities of his new heroic spirit companion. He's going to help that girl. The Goblin Fairy said that she already knew that. He is now casting heroic goblin summon. I am beyond the path of light, thou lies within the deepest depths of darkness. By this revelation, I guide thee hither to demonstrate your power. Come forth, Goblin Girl. The Goblin Girl appears. She said that it's nice to be alive again after all this time. She asked him what did he need for her, and she'll do whatever he says. The Goblin Fairy said that this great ancestor's attitude is quite carefree. He said that it's a sudden request, but he'd like to handle something for him. Bradley starts dragging the girl, and says that he knows that this slave is cheap, but he didn't think it would be completely useless. He starts to talk to Bradley. Bradley asks him what he wants. He asks to stop hurting that girl. Bradley said that this is his slave, so he'll do whatever he wants with it. He asks that no matter the cost. Bradley said of course. He said that he will buy his slave for 100 times the original price. Bradley was shocked. He said that he will buy his slave for 100 times the original price. Bradley said that this slave may have been cheap, but it still cost him 30 gold coins. He asked if he'll pay 100 times that. He agreed, and he already prepared the funds. The Goblin Girl throws a lot of bags with a lot of gold coins inside at Bradley. Bradley said that all of those gold coin bags certainly have 3,000 gold coins. He asked if he's sure about this. He said yes, and these gold coins belonged to him. He asked if they had a deal. Bradley said that he won't give it back even if he changes his mind later. Bradley quickly picks up all the bags and goes away. The girl asks why he did that. He said that he is actually a goblin just like her. That's why he wanted to help her. He said that she doesn't need to worry and she's safe now. She asked why he spent so much for her. He said that she didn't need to worry about that. Those coins weren't his. The girl is confused and says that it's not his coins. He explains that Bradley the slave merchant always keeps a large stash of gold coins in a safe inside his wagon for making transactions, and all thanks to his knowledge in the game. Goblin Girl, the heroic spirit he summoned, has the skills stealth and penetration. He had her sneak into Bradley's wagon just before he started talking to him, steal the gold coins from this safe, stuff them into bags, and then return to him. He said that the gold was all earned through criminal activity anyway, so who could blame them? He said that slavery shouldn't be allowed to exist in this world. He said to Goblin Girl that these gold coins all belong to her. He reaches his hand to the girl and asks if she can stand. The girl thanked him. He asks the Goblin Fairy to guide the girl back to the hidden village. He arrived at the Demon Continent Cruel King Duel's domain Academy of Dark Magic, main gate. This school is always accepting new students so as to train more elites. However, one's abilities must be of exceptional genius in order to enroll. By that same coin, even a low-level monster can enroll if they possess the necessary ability. He said that if he becomes an elite cadet here, he can meet with the Academy's founder, the Cruel King Duel. That's where he'll take down one of the Great Seven. An attendee said if all applicants for the entrance exam could line up over there. As he was at the line, a girl behind him tapped his shoulder. She asked if he had any food. Something sweet would be even better. He is now checking if he has anything sweet. He grabbed a small pouch. It's Lily's handmade chocolates. The girl quickly grabbed the pouch and started eating the chocolates. He looks shocked while she eats it. She thanked him and said that she got really hungry when she got stressed out, which gave her an inner darkness deficiency. She said that it goes back to normal if she eats something sweet. He looked at her with a grudge and said that those were his little sister's handmade chocolates. She asked if she did something wrong. She asks for an apology after knowing she ate something so important. He says a lot of things about her sister and something about those homemade chocolates. She said that as an apology, she'll be sure to return the favor. She introduced herself as Letty and asked for his name. He said that he doesn't have a name. Even going through the memories from before he was reincarnated, for some reason his name is the only thing he couldn't remember. He said that the only ones who don't have names are low-class monsters or slaves. She'll probably look down on him. However, Letty said that she'll give him a name. She calls him Lime because he looks all greenish. Lime asks what kind of name is that. Letty said that she thinks that name is good. She greeted Lime. Lime greeted her. The announcer said that the entrance exam will begin shortly and asked all examinees to gather at the central plaza. Letty said that let's do their best to pass. Two men talking at the distance looking at them, and one man said Lime is a little piece of shit goblin. At the Academy of Dark Magic Central Plaza, all examinees fall in line and testing out their skills. Letty is up next and cast a spell. A man was amazed and said that it was expected of her because she is the rumored princess of the evil elves tribe. Lime was shocked in that information. He said that you can't judge a person nor a demon tribe just by their appearance. He was thinking that he should change his attitude towards her now. Letty asks how was that. Lime responded that it was awesome and at this rate, she should be able to pass easily. Letty was happy about that. A man walks towards them. He was wondering who it was, but he seems they're just the incompetent guy. His name is Hage from the vampire race. Both Lime and Letty look at him. Hage asks Lime that aren't he a servant from Butch's place, and what is he doing in this place. He also asks if he also came there to take the entrance examination. Letty shouted that they were there to take the exam and ask if there's anything wrong with it. Lime thinks she just voluntarily represents him like that. She said that Lime was way better than someone as rude as Hage. Lime questioned where did that confidence come from, and it's completely baseless. Hage talked to Letty that her true self will get exposed soon. Letty was sulking. Letty looks at Lime and says that he must definitely do something awesome. Lime thinks what he's supposed to do, but he'll do his best anyways. Letty said that he must do it diligently and she's rooting for him. Lime is now facing a target dummy as he is thinking that he might blow up the plaza if he will do it diligently. He'll just think that this was just a practice on controlling his power. The examiner said that he should hurry up and do it. Lime pointed at the target and a large magic burst out of his finger. The examiner was shocked. Lime thinks that it is impossible to control his power at all. Hage was also shocked from the distance. Letty was jumping out of excitement as she said that it was amazing and truly impressive as she expected. Lime made a mistake in controlling it, but he can just cover it up since it's a dark magic activation test. Lime just said to her that he managed to use high-level magic by fluke. Later, they got break time after finishing the written magic exam. Lime asks Letty what's wrong. She is just worried because there was a subject she's not good at on the written exam and asked him if it went well for him. Lime thought that all the written exam was from the fantasy frontier solving quizzes related to the game, and he should be able to handle it without any trouble. Hage walks towards them and says that the magic test earlier was a fluke and asks him to not get carried away. He said that there's no way he can use magic. Lime said to him that isn't it better to worry about himself instead of paying attention to him. Hage was so pissed and said that he won't forgive him. Hage was about to draw his sword, but the announcer said that they will now begin the combat exam and all examiners will now go to the central plaza. Hage said that he's lucky and he'd better remember this moment. They will now enter the combat exam. The examiner said that the combat exam will be different this time. It used to be in a form of one-on-one mock battle between examinees. However, from that day all examinees will need to battle and aim for one target. All examinees were confused and asked what's the meaning of this. The examiner said that it's a new policy set by Lord Duel, the founder of this academy. A student worthy of this academy must be able to survive in a fight against an even stronger opponent. A large gate opened and a large creature appeared. A large creature roared. Lime said that creature is a thunder dragon, and this is a creature that appears near the end of the game. And that thing is the target. That thing is the thunder dragon that appears near the end of the game. Lime questioned why they were making the examinees fight against such a strong opponent. All examinees run away as the thunder dragon roars. The thunder dragon uses its lightning dragon's breath. A large number of examinees were hit. Hage said that they didn't hear anything about these changes. Letty dashes forward to the thunder dragon and shouted she'll definitely pass this exam for the sake of everyone and everyone in this kingdom. Letty casts wind bind and the thunder dragon is binded. Next, she casts wind arrow. While she was casting Wind Arrow, the wind bind broke. The Thunder Dragon dashes forward to Letty. She thinks that she'll die at this point. Lime was in front of her and a barrier was cast. Lime asked her if she's okay and responded yes. Lime asked her to wait for a bit and said that he'll do this quickly. The Thunder Dragon's horn was flashing, and the cloud turned dark. A thunder hits the Thunder Dragon and breaks Lime's barrier. The Thunder Dragon casts Dragon Breath that causes a large explosion. Lime and Letty manage to escape to that explosion. Lime said that this is getting some trouble since it is now in the super armor state. Letty was shocked that they were flying. Lime said that this might take quite some time to explain and asked her to wait for the rooftop over there. Lime threw Letty and she was shouting. A heroic spirit summoning was cast and Melter Goblin Jelly appeared and Letty landed on top of it safely. It is a goblin tribe that is the only amorphous type. Although it has a body that is non-conductive to electricity, it's weak against dry environments. It went extinct when drought persisted in its habitat. Lime is now looking at the Thunder Dragon as he casts Dark Magic, Dark Boost level 54. Lime dashes forward to the Thunder Dragon. The Thunder Dragon uses its Thunder Dragon's breath. Lime is still dashing forward to the Thunder Dragon as it casts a multi-barrage of lightning breaths. Lime teleports at the side of the face of the Thunder Dragon and kicks it. The Thunder Dragon flies and crashes to the wall. The Thunder Dragon was still standing. Lime said that go all out or otherwise they'll lose. The Thunder Dragon roars. Lime expected for it to summon Thunder Cloud. Lime teleported it behind Hage and picked up his sword. Hage didn't notice it. Lime casts Elemental Coating level 49. A thunder struck at Lime's sword. Lime casts Dark Sword Thunderbolt at the Thunder Dragon. The Thunder Dragon fainted. A notice appeared at his face. Reincarnator has completed the Quest Awakening level 3. The available range of acquired dark magic skills has been extended. He acquired the demonic sword Mjolnir from the Thunder Dragon. The examiner said that Lime is an exception and must report it to the dean. Hage and Letty were shocked by what happened. Lime said that conclude the test. Several hours later, the result for the combat examination has been revealed. Letty and Lime are the only examinee who passed the examination. Letty said Lime is the only one who contributed a lot and it doesn't make sense why she passed and she is not complaining or anything about it. Lime said they probably evaluated her based on how you faced the dragon without any hesitation. Letty looks convinced and says she'll leave it at that. Lime asks what's with Tyralty. Letty said that's her name and it's hard to say so she just sticks with Letty for short. Letty reminds something and start writing Lime's name from the board. Letty said she already gave him a name and that's better. Lime smiled. A man gave them the uniform. Letty said it feels like it's finally official. The man handed them their grimoire and robes. Lime wears the robe. The man said they have a dormitory system here but they have to take a placement test before they enter. Lime asks that there's another test. The man responded that he's right and this will determine their level of darkness, which then decides the class of dormitory they'll enter. A lot of students appeared and the man brought out the device. The man said he is looking forward to seeing where both of their classes stand. A male student said those are the guys who passed the new combat exam and rumor says that this was the most difficult so far. Another student said that no wonder only 2 people made it through. But it looks like it wasn't a big deal if Letty and Lime passed. Letty looked at them and said how dare they. Lime said to her to bear with it since it's not the time. Letty pouted and said if he said so. Lime asks what this placement exam is about exactly. The man said that it's quite simple. Just stand in front of this magical construct and it will analyze their darkness levels. If they touch the screen, their results will then be displayed right there. They just received this tool from their magnificent school, a freshly made, state-of-the-art instrument. The man said to rest assured that there is no way to cheat the results. The test starts with Letty. Letty placed her hands on the device. A screen pops out. The man was shocked from what he was seeing. The things written on the screen are as follows. The race is Evil Elf, Knowledge 96.0, Power 33.0, Dark Aptitude 32,000, and Inner Darkness 200,800. Lime said it was similar to a status window. Her inner darkness is considerably high. Letty has quite a lot of potential, and she's sure to become a reliable fighter once she's trained up. The optimal class upon analysis is Lucifer Dorm. They said that the Lucifer Dorm was the highest ranking dorm. The man said that she's one of the rare evil elves after all, so this sort of test is in her favor. Lime is now next. He said that it's the rules, so he'll measure Lime, and predicted that the results are already clear since Lime is a goblin. Lime knew his stats from his last awakening, but he is now curious how much he has grown since then. He tries to pour all his darkness in. The man was confused as he was seeing Lime glowing. The device broke and caused an explosion. Lime and the man were shocked. The man said that cost him 500 gold coins for that measuring device. Lime said maybe there was a fault in the machine. He said that can't be possible since it was a brand new state-of-the-art instrument. He is now concerned about what he was supposed to tell the dean about this. Lime said he is sorry about it and he really didn't mean to. The man said Lime can't be measured, so he will be joining the lowest dorm. Letty was shocked about it. Lime said that this isn't good if he was put into the lowest class dorm because this was a bad start on his part to becoming a cadet. A male with a glass was looking at him with suspicion. Lime said that he needs to figure out some kind of shortcut he can make. At the Academy of Dark Magic student dormitory, the lowest ranked seer dorm, Lime was sitting looking at the status screen. He is looking at his current objective that he must be chosen as an elite cadet. If get chosen, then he'll be able to have an audience with the cruel King Dedul. He'd like to deal with him first and seize control of the Dedul domain for himself. However, that option is looking grim, being in the lowest ranked dorm as he is now. He is now looking for a quickest way to have the school recognize his abilities. He could talk to Letty about transferring since she was put into the highest class Lucifer dorm. Lime noticed the paper wedged in the grimoire. Lime grabbed it and said that this was just the thing he was looking for. A receptionist asks Lime if he'd like to apply to participate in the magic tournament. Lime showed the application form and said yes. The magic tournament, sponsored by the Academy of Dark Magic, was a competition held by the Academy once a year to decide the school's strongest mage. It's a long-standing tradition that only the most skilled students should enter the competition. The victor will be bestowed with a magical treasure as commemoration from the school's founder, Dedul. In other words, even if he doesn't become a cadet, it's possible to have an audience with Dedul simply by winning this tournament. The receptionist asked if Lime is only his second day since entering school, and Lime said yes. The receptionist said this is a dangerous competition with no restrictions on the use of magic and asked if he understood it. She said that it's recommended for the students to have been enrolled for at least 1 year before participating. Lime said he understands and still wishes to participate. The receptionist said to wait for a moment. She said that a strange student has come to the office. A man with glasses said that man must be the one who broke the measuring instrument. She asks if I should turn him away. He said it's not a problem and gave him a permit to join. The receptionist said they accepted his application. She stated that in the tournament rules that all incidents come at his own risk. Lime accepted the terms. Lime looks like he found his shortcut. At the Academy of Dark Magic Lucifer dorm, Letty was taking a shower at the girls-only building. She was happy she got to meet Lime at the entrance exam. She said that he even saved her life like a prince. Letty was blushing and imagining on that moment Lime grabbed her and flew out of the explosion. Letty snapped out of it as she remembered that she was tossed after that. She wonders whenever she sees him. She has a feeling that Lime's going to do great things. She can't take her eyes off him, or more like she can't leave his side. Letty starts to blush again and she feels like her heart is beating so fast all of a sudden. At the Academy of Dark Magic Seer dorm midnight, Lime woke up and teleported to the roof of the dorm. He summoned Goblin Girl. He requested to use penetration ability to enter the school's facility. Lime noticed Goblin Girl's outfit and asked why she was in a school uniform. Goblin Girl said she likes to get in character. Lime asks to use penetration to infiltrate the school's facility and investigate each of them. Lime said that the other one should be here soon. The Goblin Fairy appears and says that she left the slave girl in his sister's care. Lime thanked the fairy. Lime apologizes to her in advance and asks her to map out a full view of the school for him. The fairy is confused about the map out, and he meant that he wanted a diagram of it. The fairy said that why didn't he just say that in the first place and should have it mapped out in no time. The fairy asks what he will do. Lime said he'll be heading over there. Lime said it's time for a stealth mission. At the Academy of Dark Magic Dean's Tower, Lime teleported to the roof. Lime cast Dark Material Commo level 45. He said that level of concealment might not go completely undetected. Lime peeked at the window. He spotted 4 people. The one sitting is the school's dean, Wesker, a woman named Milane, the Magic Tournament's Director of Operations, the man with the glass, Professor Eddie, and the Student Council President, Gaia the Dragonian. Eddie said that Lime is a threat. They can't predict what this new student is truly capable of, and he has no place within their school's noble culture and traditions. Wesker asks if he's the one who defeated the Thunder Dragon that they released to fail all of the applicants. Milane said that it was supposed to be a measure to preserve their reputation as a prestigious school, and Lime made a real mess of things. She said it would seem that Lime possesses extraordinary strength. Eddie slammed his hands to the table as he said that the students of their venerable school must not only possess strength, but must also be a respectable demon tribe with grace and dignity. If they allow rubbish like the Goblin tribe, the lowest of the low, to steal that from them, they would be unworthy to show their faces to the great founder, Dedul. Wesker asks if their proposal is to expose the students' true nature at the magic tournament. Millane said yes, and the student in question entered by his own free will. Whether he lives or dies, it would be his own responsibility. The magic tournament always sees a handful of unforeseen accidents after all. Wesker sighs and says they're as extreme as ever. Eddie said that in the first place, they're talking about a goblin that should have never qualified for the entrance exam. Millane said if they're getting individuals like this, then perhaps it would be best to place a restriction on it now. Eddie said if no one else will protect the honorable traditions of their school, then he will. Lime said that although they say that everyone has a fair chance to enroll, there's no real point if the higher-ups are corrupt. Wesker seems to notice Lime's presence. Wesker stands up and says he understands the situation and allows them to do as they please. He said that he's going to bed now. Millane doubts Wesker if she really understands it or he's already going senile. Eddie told Gaia that he's going to rig the tournament brackets so that he'll face the student from his faction. He wants to cause an unforeseen accident, and he will be the one to protect their school's dignity. Gaia responded. Lime said that a Dragonian would be a worthy opponent, and he's fine with him. Eddie said if push comes to shove, he will dispose of that goblin. Gaia responded. Lime said he's fine with him facing a Dragonian, and he'll have a worthy opponent. Milanie said that thinking about what would happen if the highest-ranking nobleman would go all out against a mere goblin. Eddie said that this is no laughing matter. Lime teleported back to the dorm. Goblin Girl explains all the things she saw. She said there was an entrance to a suspicious underground warehouse behind the backmost bookshelf in the Library of Great Magic. Goblin Fairy hands over the bird's eye view map of the school. Lime thanked both of them and said let's call it a night at that. Lime saw a man swinging his sword repeatedly. Lime said it's admirable of him to be training this late at night. Goblin Fairy said he's been at it the whole time while she was mapping out the school. That student is a kobold, another low-ranking tribe, and he's in the same dorm as Lime. Lime said he shouldn't write this place off too easily. Lime saw Goblin Fairy laying down his bed. He asks why she is trying to sleep on his bed. The Goblin Girl looked at him saying she's a little super adorable fairy and asked how could a fair maiden like herself sleep on a stool or the floor. She asks him why won't he sleep with her and maybe she should seduce him. Lime refused and he might probably have crushed her if he rolled around in his sleep. Goblin Girl transformed into a beautiful girl and asked him how about now. She was joking around and said she would probably give her a nasty lecture if she seduced you and his sister would probably be mad as well. She transformed back and proceeded to sleep. Lime sits down and summarizes the findings from his stealth mission before he goes to sleep. He's going to be busy starting tomorrow. Next morning at the Academy of Dark Magic Dining Hall, Lime was eating his meal. Letty saw Lime from afar and started waving at him, inviting him to sit beside them. Lime said it's definitely not a good idea for him to sit at the same table as these girls from the highest-ranked dorm. Lime was looking at the paper as he thought it's only 5 days left until the Dark Magic Tournament. The kobold student asks Lime if he sits with him. Lime said of course. The kobold student responded. Lime remembers him from last night. The kobold student asks Lime if he's in the Seer dorm too and tells him he is in the same dorm as him. Lime said he is looking forward to working with him then. He said likewise. He asks if it's true that he applied to participate in the magic tournament. Lime said it is true. He said he actually applied too. A man grabbed him and shouted at him saying who told that he could eat there. He was scared saying it doesn't really matter where he eats. Nero said that a low-rank monster like him isn't allowed to sit here. The only time he's allowed to be over here is when he's delivering something on an errand. He said that there's no such thing as that rule. Lime grabs Nero's arm and looks at him. Nero asks what the hell's his deal. Lime said he's a goblin, another low-ranking monster, and asks him if he says he can't be here either. Nero asks if he is new around here. He said it's just in time to teach the rules around here with his fists. Lime smiles as he invites him to give it a try and asks to enlighten him. He was concerned and feels like this is because of him. Lime was looking at Nero as he cracked his fists. Nero said a newbie like Lime should learn to mind his business. Nero swings his fists, but Lime blocks his attack without a problem. Kobold and Nero were shocked about what happened. Lime grabs Nero's hand and thought causing a commotion here would give him a bad impression with the other students. He'll settle this quietly so he won't stand out too much. Nero was dragged into his knees as he tried to remove his hands out of him. Nero is screaming in pain. Lime let go of Nero's arm and left a mark. Nero is holding his hand as he is still in pain. Lime looks at him and asks if everyone is free to come to this cafeteria as they please. Nero's friend said that Lime is the freshman from the rumors, that one who took down the dragon with one strike. Nero stands up and says he already knows who's gonna deal with Lime and that it is the Dragonian faction, Breath of Flame, that is already keeping its eyes on him. Nero pointed at him with a smirk on his face and asked if he wondered how long he'll last. Lime sighs and turns away. The kobold thanked him and said he was sorry for getting him dragged into this. Lime said it was fine. The kobold said he has also applied to participate in the magic tournament as well. He wants to test his strength and leave those guys dumbfounded, but he thinks he doesn't stand a chance at winning, and he thinks it's laughable. They forget to introduce themselves, so Lime says his name, and that kobold's name is Loot Arcadia. Lime was shocked after knowing his name, and Loot asked what he knew about him. Lime knew that Luke Arcadia is the one who will hunt down the hero's forces to the very end in the future. He is the man who would become the most powerful knight among the Order of the Dark Knights. They are now back at the Academy of Dark Magic Seer dorm. Loot said he'll be seeing him in class. Lime asks Loot if it's alright with him to join in his midnight training sessions. Loot was surprised about that. He agreed and said he's always welcome to join and let's do their best. He said he'll see him tonight then. Lime said for the main subject, he recalls that his younger sister is a nun of the Dark Church within the territory of the demon god Shanel, one of the 7 greats. Loot asks how did he know. Lime responded it's just a rumor he happened to hear. Lime said to listen well and tell that in the near future, his sister will go to a village bordering the human world for missionary work. When that time comes, tell her to come straight home and don't stop and don't look back. Think of this as repayment for helping him back at the dining hall. He must honor this favor. He asks if he understand. Loot responded. Lime and Loot part ways after that. Goblin Fairy appears and asks Lime if he is plotting on something. Lime said he did just a bit and thinking that should have changed Loot's fate. The death of his sister is what causes him to fall to the dark side, and that is the worst possible route. The next step is to have Loot awaken while keeping his sister alive. Several days later, at midnight, the Academy of Dark Magic backyard. Lime is standing near the waterfall, facing 3 target practice stones hanging at the trees. He casts a spell hitting all 3 at once. Lime said that should do it for tonight. Loot was behind him, focusing as his eyes was closed. Loot opened his eyes and swings his sword. A wave appears and cuts the stream of the waterfall and also the wall at the back of it. He was surprised and said he did it. He talks to Lime and said he can't believe his swordsmanship is improving so easily. Lime said of course it is since he has been training hard to begin with. Loot thanks Lime because of his advice that he gave. He complimented Lime about his high dark level and also his swordsmanship too. Loot really makes him wonder why Lime were put into the low-rank seer dorm. Lime thanked his compliment about him. Luke is wiping his sword and said that tomorrow is the start of the tournament. He said that this will be their last midnight training session. Lime said he's doing a great job about the hard work he put in his training. He doesn't break a sweat about his training, and it is second to none. His positive mindset is his strongest weapon. But while training with him over these past few days, Lime realized something. Loot have not yet unlocked his true potential. Loot asks about it. Lime said it's something that primarily manifests from experiencing something that shakes him to his very core. A pain he'd never want to feel again, and he doesn't want him to go through that. But without it, he might live his whole life without ever knowing his true potential. Loot was still confused about what Lime is saying. Lime knew it would happen, so he asked to close his eyes for just a moment. As Loot closes his eyes, Lime casts Dark Magic Sinister Analysis. After casting the spell, he saw that the darkness throughout most of his body is in an inactive state. It's as if he's running at full speed with a giant iron weight chained to him. Lime was impressed that Loot grew this much with a body like that. His powers should level up by a tremendous amount by simply resolving this status, and once he removes these shackles, Loot should be able to awaken on his own even without that tragedy. Lime's hand is transforming and says to Loot that don't move. Lime strikes Loot to the chest. Loot was shocked. Lime said it is fine now. Loot was confused and he felt like something pierced through his body. Lime said let's call their training at that for tonight as tomorrow is the big day. Loot agrees. The next morning, the Academy of Dark Magic Coliseum. The magic tournament's opening ceremony begins. A lot of people were shouting with excitement. Lime, Loot, Gaia, and other participants are walking towards the inside of the Coliseum. Melanie shouts that today will mark the beginning of the magic tournament. The crowd was excited. She said that be sure not to miss a single moment of this glorious event. A speech from the school's founder, Master Duel, shall signal the start of the tournament. A large circular pattern appears in the sky. The founder, Master Duel, appears below it. Lime said this magic looks similar to his summon goblin ability, but it's different. It isn't teleportation or magic either. It is a remote projection, as if it's like a hologram. Master Duel is now giving a speech about all of his bright students, the hopeful future of the Demon Lord's army, and asks them to demonstrate their limits of their abilities they've honed thus far against their opponents in battle. There is but one rule, and that rule is those without strength must yield of their own accord. The crowd starts shouting after the speech. The persecution and heavy taxes that Duel imposes are the reason why everyone in the hidden village is suffering. Lime said that he'll win this tournament and take him down. Lime was standing at the wall, looking at the tournament bracket paper. The tournament has 128 participants in total, which means there are 6 matches to win before the finals. He said that stamina shouldn't be an issue and planned to go all out from the start. Lime was supposed to look for his first opponent when suddenly a cold glass sticks in his face. Lime was surprised as it was so cold that he shouted and started to fall back. It was Letty giving him a cold drink and saying she didn't know he could be so loud. She said that she saw Lime in the contestant zone from the audience and kept on calling him from afar, but he kept on ignoring her all the time. Lime explains to her that he just didn't hear her at all because of those loud cheering. Letty didn't buy it, but she's glad that at least they were able to meet up. Letty asks about the condition that only students who have been enrolled for over a year could enter the tournament. Lime said that's just a common misconception. Letty responded as she sipped her drink. Lime looks at her and asks if there's something wrong. Letty responded and said that entering a tournament against the school's strongest fighters right after enrolling, and thinks of Lime as a really strange person. Lime was looking at him and Letty seemed startled. Lime said don't mind him, and thinking if he were to say that she's the one who's strange, she'd get mad at him for sure. Letty pouted as she said that he was always acting all grown up. Letty remembers something and hands over a small pouch at Lime. Lime opened the pouch and asked if this was in return from that time she ate the homemade chocolate. Letty said she always felt bad about eating those chocolates. Lime asks if she made these herself. Letty blushed as she said she did make those, but asked not to get the wrong idea about it. She said this is just an apology, so don't take it that way. Lime asks in what way. Letty blushes even more and says she didn't mean to say it and asks him to not mind it. Lime is not sure what she's going on about, but he thanks Letty, and that makes him really happy. He rather likes this kind of human feeling the game has. Letty told Lime that he's an idiot. Letty said it's time for her to go. Letty is reaching for a fist bump as he said good luck to Lime. They both fist bump. Both of them part ways. Letty's face is blushing. Her chest is beating fast again, and she is confused why. It is time for the first match of the Magic Tournament. The announcer said it's time to welcome this round's contestants. From the Seer dorm, Lime the Goblin. Shattering all conventions, he entered the tournament within just 1 week of his enrollment and was a daring new student who knows no fear. His opponent from the Lucifer dorm, Orphan Escudo the Dragonian, a proud member of the Breath of Flame faction. 3 girl students were cheering at Orphan. Melanie talked to Eddie asking about throwing the second ranked member at Lime already. Eddie said he's not here to play games. Wesker is watching silently. A man asks Lime if he's sure he didn't need a weapon. Lime said that's fine. Orphan thought he was being underestimated. The match has started. Orphan jumps high and casts Dragonian form Wyvern. A girl student said he was already bringing out his trump card as he was serious about ending it quickly. Orphan casts Elemental Coating level 20. Often said he'll turn him to ashes. Lime said that a dive attack is boring. A lot of chains appear below Lime's ground and start to bind him. Letty was shocked about what happened. Orphan asked who said that he would play fair. Orphan shouted that he'll die by his hand. Lime was staring at him. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, comment, and hit the subscribe button for more content like this. Stay awesome, goodbye.